Hey guys, and welcome back. As promised for today, we are continuing our unit rate conversions, but we're going to look closer at the metric system. Okay, and the metric system is very useful and handy in terms of this conversion skill that we are doing because all metric system values increase by a factor of 10. So all of the units of measurements increase or decrease by a factor of 10, and they all work off of these same six prefixes. These are the standard six. They even go beyond um, these um, in a grand scale and also its microscopic scale. But I regress. In terms of distance, you've got to know that a meter is the standard bearer for distance in the metric system. Okay, when you're measuring volume, you are talking about the liter, and the liter is like a pretty close to an Aquafina bottle of volume. And in terms of weight, the weight standard bearer is the gram. Now, a gram is actually pretty small. If you were to measure your own weight, you would measure it in kilograms. kg is another way to say that. Okay, but if you have 10 meters, you have this thing called a decameter. Okay, if you have 100 meters, you have a hectometer. If you have 1,000 meters, you have a kilometer. Okay, if you have a decimeter, you have 1/10 of a meter. A centimeter is 1/100th of a meter, and a millimeter is 1/1000th. I would highly recommend, if you're not familiar with these things, take a look at a ruler or take a look at a measuring tape that is laying around your house and look at the metric side and see how that compares to the customary, the inches and feet side. Okay, so before we go on to more conversions, let's actually look at a couple IXL examples so we get a feel of how we could possibly convert these metric units. Okay, metric example. So I just screen grabbed one IXL problem, and it says 400 millimeters is equal to how many centimeters? 400 millimeters is equal to how many centimeters? So let's remember that in the metric system, we have the same prefixes. The biggest one would be the kilogram. Okay, then you have the hectogram, then decagram. Okay, I don't know why I am using gram when this is meters, kilometer. I'm sorry, that was a mistake. I apologize for that. Kilometer, kilometer, potato, potato, hectometer, decameter. Then we have the standard bearer, the meter. Then we have the decimeter, the centimeter, and finally the millimeter. So all of these prefixes are in place and they go up by a factor of 10 every single time. Okay, so 400 millimeters is equal to how many centimeters is what it is. So 400 millimeters, that is mm. Why do I keep writing the wrong units? Millimeters is going to get multiplied by the conversion rate for centimeters to millimeters. If you notice, there are 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter. And if I convert this properly, the millimeters will end up canceling out. And I'm going to end up with, you guessed it, just simply 40 being divided by 10. And when 40 gets divided by 10, the answer is just going to be 4 centimeters. And if you notice something interesting about the metric system is it's the same number with the decimal place moved over once, and that's the essence of the ease of these conversions, right? We are either multiplying or dividing, in this case, by 10. So we moved from a larger unit, sorry, from a smaller unit to a larger unit. So in essence, we are dividing by the conversion rate of 10. Okay, so the answer to this one would be divide by 10, and the answer would be 4 centimeters. Okay, but you have to understand the y behind the what. The y is the units when we are multiplying by the conversion rate of 1 centimeter per 10 millimeters ends up being a division problem, and we end up with 4 centimeters. Let's go to another example here. Okay, this one, it gives me a rate. It says or sorry, why am I having such a hard time today? 32,040 centimeters per day is equal to how many centimeters per hour? Okay, so we have to think about, okay, the centimeters is the unit that is going to stay the same. In this case, I have to change the time. I have to change the time. I have to know that there are 24 hours in one day to one day. And this is a ratio. This is a ratio of 1. Okay, so let me start with the 32,040. Finally read something correctly today. Centimeters per day. And note that I want to change days into hours. So I'm going to multiply by this ratio, but I'm going to have to flip it upside down. And why do I flip it upside down? I strategically want the one day to cross cancel with the one day that is on the bottom. 24 hours. Now, when I have 32,040, multiplying fractions is no problem. Top times top and bottom times bottom on my numerator. And I have 24 hours on my denominator. I know that I am going to be in centimeters and over hours. All we have to do is throw this through the calculator. And I will do the same. 32,040 being divided by 24 is 1,335. Should be the answer to this IXL problem. Okay, so this one did not have to do with a metric conversion, but it did have to do with a time conversion. The next example, which is where? Not here. Okay, hold on, pause the tape. Let's see if I can get the next example. All right, we're back. I found the third example. Had to do some finagling to get it back. I apologize. So this one says convert 391 centiliters per month into some number of milliliters per year. Interesting. Okay, this is going to be a huge number, spoiler alert. But let's get the background knowledge of what we need to know first. We need to know the conversion rate from months to a year. And hopefully it is general universal knowledge that there are 12 months in every 1 year. Okay? We also should know that there are 10 milliliters, that is ml, for every 1 centiliter, that is cl. And I know that because milli is the prefix here, centi is the prefix here. Use that cheat sheet in your notes or Google it real quick to make that conversion. So start out with the ratio, the fraction it gives me. 391 centiliters every 1 month. And I'm going to have to multiply. First of all, I want to change the months into years. And this one, I actually already wrote the fraction in the correct way. 12 months in 1 year. I am multiplying, in essence, this thing by 12 because there are 12 months in a year, okay? So the months here is going to be able to cancel out. And if I made this calculation, I would be in centiliters per year. But that's not what I asked. I asked for milliliters per year. So I also have to take that number and multiply by another conversion rate. And that is 10 milliliters for every 1 centiliter. Okay? And the reason why I oriented the ratio, the conversion rate in that way is because I wanted the centiliters to cross cancel with my other centiliters. So in essence, I'm multiplying 391 by 12 by 10, all ones on the bottom. Okay, so 391 times 12. Go ahead and throw that through the calculator. What happened to my calculator? I kid you not, my calculator stopped working. I'm going to have to get a new one. Okay, interesting. YouTube pop-up. So I'm going to have to go 391 times 12, which is 4,692, but then that being multiplied by 10 across the top creates that large number that I was talking about. 46,000. 920. What unit? It is going to be milliliters for every, what is the unit on the bottom? 1 year. I am doing what the problem has asked, and I have made the appropriate conversion. Okay? Use that cheat sheet to familiarize yourself with the metric system, and good luck on the IXL. We're doing like we did yesterday, except the IXL module is L2. Let me know in the chat or otherwise over your microphones if you have any questions. See ya. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hope everyone's having a great Monday or Tuesday whenever you are watching this.